Welcome back, guys, to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, my name is Shalisa, or Lisa for short. Subscribe and like and comment to see more about me. So as in this title, this video is going to be based on gastritis basically. And I've been supposed to drop this video for like anybody that ever seen my video go viral on TikTok about gastritis. I needed to talk about this because nobody talks about it. So we gonna get into like this real quick. First of all, I'm gonna tell you guys my experience, what happened, what's going on now, how I'm feeling, and if I ever recovered. And I'm gonna tell you guys automatically off rip, yes I did. But I'm gonna tell y'all from the beginning when I got diagnosed. So we are all the way in 1 month. Okay guys, so we are all the way in October now, and when I got diagnosed that I had gastritis in March. So when I got diagnosed that I had this in March, basically, first of all, I'm gonna tell you guys, I didn't know what I had. I didn't know what was going on. I just know that at one point, if you know me, if you know the real me, I was thick. I was like, I felt like I was that girl. But I was real thick, and I was always eating. Anybody that have food that I'm close with, not random people, but anybody that I'm close with, I'm always being nosy, especially my old coworkers. I still love y'all. The old coworkers from my previous job, anytime they were eating something, I would be like, oh, what are y'all eating, blah blah blah. So from that, I realized there was a little time where I was just not eating, and it was to the point where basically I wasn't eating regularly. Like, I would have one little thing of something and I'm full, and that's just weird. Like, you know, how out of nowhere I'm just not eating the same, none of that. So then one day, the time of the month was here, and basically I woke up that morning very nauseous. I couldn't do nothing about it. Nothing, not one thing was helping. I thought I really had to throw up, but nothing was coming up. But I still decided to go to work, which I really shouldn't have, but I still did. So when I did go to work, what happened was that I was trying to drink some tea because I was still feeling very nauseous, and I drank some tea, but I still couldn't eat nothing because of the nausea feeling. And then I took some pills without eating anything. So I know y'all probably looking at this video like, oh no girl, why would you do that? Yep. And I believe that's how I got my gastritis, because some people get gastritis different ways. People get gastritis from eating a certain type of, like, you just eating certain foods that's not good for you. You're really eating fatty foods all the time. You're either drinking a lot, smoking a lot. There's so many ways you could get gastritis. By the way, gastritis is a thing where most people can get. It's really common, and that's why I had to make this video, because nobody talks about it. But before I get more into the details of the video and what happened to me, gastritis is something where it's like, it's basically where for certain people, your stomach lining is like ruined. Like, the acid from your stomach that's supposed to help what you're eating. When you're eating food, you have acid in your stomach, and it's supposed to help you break down that food so it can pass, you know, through the rest of the body, pass out. And I'm sorry guys, I'm touching my nose. And basically what was happening to me was that the acid, instead of it was helping my food go down or anything, the acid was coming up and up and up. And some people do throw up. I didn't throw up from having this gastritis, but that's what was happening to me. So it's basically like a little bit of heartburn. It's like you can't eat certain stuff because your stomach lining is damaged, so certain things may upset your stomach. You can't eat regular food. You can't be eating no spicy food. You can't drink no alcohol. You can't smoke. I don't smoke, so that ain't bother me, but you can't do a lot of things. So yes, so with that being said, to get back in tune, I'm gonna skip because I don't want to be feeling like I'm dragging out this video. But basically, to stay in tune with the gastritis, what was happening to me after that day I took the pill. That day nothing had affected me, but I think in the long run, some weeks after and months in tune, yeah, there was certain stuff affecting me. Just my eating ways, it was not the same. And then one day I came into work and I kind of was having an anxiety attack. Like my heart was just going like this the whole entire day, through the whole schedule, and I don't know why. It was just beating so fast. So I ended up going to the emergency room like right after. After I went to the emergency room, I was telling them what was going on and how, yeah, you know, I'm still not feeling the same. Like, and you know what's so crazy? Months before I was going into the emergency room randomly because my stomach would be cramping and my back would be hurting as well. And I think this had something to do with whatever was taking place was happened months in advance, and I just did not know. So I don't know. I really don't know how this started. But with that being said, after I left the emergency room, I didn't leave until the next day, and after I left them, I got worse. And I always feel like once you go to the hospital, you get worse. I do not feel like you get anywhere better at all when you leave a hospital. So with that being said, what happened was I left and I really couldn't eat not one thing at all. Like, to the point I couldn't even get a little piece of a little whatever, chip, food, whatever it was. I couldn't get no piece of nothing. Like, I felt literally like my stomach was, I felt like something was grabbing my stomach and like going like this. Like, I didn't know what was going on, but it was horrible. And it was to the point where I really started noticing that something was wrong with me. So then they told me that I should have went to a gastro clinic. There's a bigger word for that, but that's where I ended up going to, basically like a specialist for those things. And the first day I went, it was a struggle to get up. I had pain in my back. I said my back. My back. My symptoms was pain in my back, nausea, stomach pain. I don't even know. It was so much symptoms that I had. So when I got there, the guy, the specialist, he was kind of, you know, when doctors, sometimes they touch your stomach, so y'all not gonna be able to see really, but he was like touching my stomach. And when he was touching it, he was basically touching it like this, and it hurt for him to even touch my stomach. So when he did do that, he was like, off rip, he prescribed me with PPIs. The one that he prescribed me with was Pantazole. I can't remember the full name, but it started with a P. And he prescribed me nausea medicine. But with those things that he prescribed me, he told me that I have to do an endoscopy. So I started taking the PPIs from once the day I left. Well, the day after I started taking the PPIs, because the ones that I had to take it in the morning. So from there, I was taking those in the morning, and I was also taking a nausea medicine. So in the beginning, guys, it was hard to eat anything, like I was telling you guys. I was mostly trying to drink a little water. I was scared to eat because I was scared to throw up, because the symptoms that I had was nausea. And then as well, this is so TMI, but I knew the acid was coming up, because anytime you would spit, the spit would not be like you know, saliva is like really like sticky, like it's like, you know, it's supposed to be a little, you know how it's supposed to be, guys. And it was just not like that at all. Like, you could tell it was very like, it was just not regular. So from right there, I'm gonna skip, and because I don't even remember what I was taking, I was still nervous to eat. So I just know from right there, I was waiting for this endoscopy because I was scared. I'm not gonna hold you. I thought that was it for me. I thought that was it. Like, I was gonna be gone. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Every time I tell this story to somebody, they be laughing. They be like, oh no, not you saying you thought you was gone. yes, I thought it was over. I didn't know what was going on. You ever look up, guys, on Google what could be going on, and it's like they start telling you the wrong information, something that you don't want to hear. They start telling you got cancer, and so I was getting real worried. But to skip over to the endoscopy now, so I do the endoscopy, and first of all, before I did it, I was very nervous because I've never been put on anesthesia at all. So my heart rate was a little too high when they was checking like my vitals and everything. Before I could do that, I had to calm down. So the lady was trying to tell me to calm down, and then I calmed down. Then I go into the room, and first of all, I was so nervous because something else was happening in a different room where the guy just woke up from his anesthesia and he fainted. So that's making me even more worried because I'm like, yo, what is going on? I was like, what is going on? So therefore, they end up doing whatever. The guy's trying to talk to me while he's putting the IV in my arm. I'm not scared of needles, so he didn't really have to do that, but yeah, he was talking to me to distract me. Then they put this thing over my head, and then eventually they start putting the anesthesia into my eyelid, and they're like, you're about to go to sleep in 1, 2. When he said 3, I was knocked like a light and just knocked. And so when I woke up, I felt like that was the best sleep of my life. And the doctor pulls me in, and obviously, you know, when they get like the results and everything towards the end, but he said from so far when he was looking inside of my stomach, because the tube was all in my stomach looking to see what was going on, he said I did not have no ulcers, which is a plus. Like, that's good. I didn't have no ulcers, but he saw that my esophagus was really like irritated. Like, it looked like, I don't know, it was not looking normal. He was like, that's something that we have to make sure you get that on control, because if you don't get that on control, you in the near future, going down the line, if acid keeps coming up and all of that is happening, you can get esophagus cancer, and I don't want to be dealing with that, obviously. So once I left, they told me no spicy food and nothing went on. Well, actually, they didn't tell me that. They just told me no fatty foods, no spicy foods. I had to do my own research, and this is why I had to come and say this video. I had to do my own research and tell you guys that you're not supposed to, it's not only about you cannot have any spicy and no fatty foods. They don't tell you you're not supposed to have nothing acidic at all. And if you really know, everything is acidic, from juices, even for some people, water can even be a trigger for them. So everything is acidic. So from right there, I started doing my research. Girl, I was in every Reddit page. I was in everything. Okay, guys. So, okay, I got a call real quick. So I just wanted to get back into it because, you know, I got to tell y'all about everything. So, like I was saying, basically, was that I was in Reddit pages, groups, and all of that. I was on Facebook groups. I was looking on TikTok, because I feel like TikTok gives you a little more, and I'm gonna tell you why. Some people on TikTok like to say their whole entire life. YouTube too, but I just, like, when I was looking up gastritis, I will tell you, I only saw probably 2 videos of like people's life stories on this whole gastritis thing, and I didn't see nobody really talk that much in detail. But then I go on TikTok, and so many people have this whole gastritis thing. Like, so many people have it. So I'm just like, nah, I have to talk about this. I have to. So like I was saying, guys, after the whole endoscopy, I would say days after, I was already taking the pills. So I was already taking my PPIs. So eventually I started being able to eat, and I'll tell you what I was eating. For the first couple of days, I was doing yogurt. I already eat yogurt, so that wasn't an issue for me. But like I said, all these things are acidic. So what I may be telling you may not work for everybody. I need everybody to know that before they just be like, oh yeah, well, she said that. No. I'm not nobody's doctor, none of that. But I'm just gonna tell you guys what did work for me. and hopefully it could work for anybody, but I'm not sure. It's really trial and error with this whole gastritis thing, and I've learned that from since. I'm months in, I'm way better. I think I'm cured, honestly, because I eat anything now. Not saying I wasn't able to eat that before, but like it's not really bad for me. Like I know what I'm doing now. But like I was saying, I did yogurt, and it will mostly be like low-fat yogurt. Really try to get something that's not fatty. If you can, dairy too is something that you really don't want to get too much into. So it's so much trial and error. Let me see, what's something else? I used to have a lot of fruits. That's one thing I would tell you guys. Fruits. One of the fruits that I would, well, not even one, a whole group, the whole melon family definitely helps your gut and your stomach. Everybody's different though, because when I was on Reddit, some people said they could have had the melons, like watermelons, cantaloupes, the I forgot what the other one is, but it's a green melon as well. But I just feel like everybody has to see how their stomach adjusts to it. What else, guys? I think I might try to drop some clips in it so you guys can see, but what I was really eating, I'm gonna definitely drop some clips so I could show you guys, because a lot of people don't know what to eat, and it's bad to the point where it's like I had to season differently. I'm a girl, I love to eat, I love to cook, and one thing about it is, you know, you mostly season more than salt and pepper, but when I tell you, you cannot season, yeah, you can't season. The seasonings that did work for me, that did not mess up with my stomach, were what was it? It was Italian and herbs. Yeah, Italian herb seasoning, Himalayan salt. I didn't really use black pepper. I used sweet paprika because it wasn't bad with me, and paprika is mostly sometimes spice, so the sweet one actually was good. I did my research with that, and that did not affect me. But there's so many ones that you could look for, and make sure you're really reading and not just looking at a recipe and it's like, okay, well, this recipe says such and such. You really got to know what has spice and what you can really tolerate. So I would make like chicken breast, nothing with the skin of the chicken. You're not supposed to have red meat. That can cause you really to get the esophagus cancer from what I've heard. So I was really just eating chicken breast or shrimp or fish, which mostly is on salmon side. I love me some salmon. What else? Oh, with those dishes I make brown rice. Brown rice, I've heard, has been really good, so I've always was eating, like, you know, brown rice, asparagus, spinach, all those type of things, and it definitely helped for me. Now snack wise, anytime I say snacks, I usually would just go grab a fruit. Honestly, guys, I would go get me a fruit as a snack. Wheat thins never bothered me. I don't even drink juice, so my drink was always water. I didn't get into juicing until, like, I think 2 months in I started juicing. I want to tell you guys how long I was on the PPIs and how long, like, I waited until I could go out. So I was on the PPIs for probably only 2 weeks. My bottle finished. Once the bottle finished, I did not ask my doctor that I wanted to get prescribed for more, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. I have a friend, and not only did I have a friend, from my research, you're not really supposed to be on the PPIs for that long. Naturally, you would want to get better by yourself without having to rely on pills. And I recently had a lot of family members that either passed away from certain pills, and you can't always rely on something that a doctor prescribes you because you don't know if it's going to really work. So I was already skeptical of taking the pills because the symptoms that I did have on the pills when I very first was taking the PPIs was my heart was racing mad fast, and I didn't know why. But eventually that went away, so, you know, I was like, okay, that went away, so I guess I shouldn't be too worried now. But yeah, that was a little scary. So for only 2 weeks I was on the PPIs. After the 2 weeks, I was good. I stopped the PPIs. I was nervous, but I stopped them. I already stopped taking the nausea medicine because you shouldn't be taking it unless you actually feel nauseous. Don't just take it because they prescribed it to you. But for people who actually do take the nausea medicine, okay, that's different. But yes, after that, that's when I started continue eating just really good. Everything was good. I even made a little pizza, and the pizza that I made was obviously no tomato based, nothing, because that's acidic. So I made like this type of pesto sauce. I have to see if I have that recipe somewhere in my phone still, because it was really good. And when I first started, when I tell you, I was not using no dairy really at all. Anything when it came to cheese, it was like plant-based cheese. Plant-based cheese was really different to me, but used it. And yes, I tried to do the trial and error. So I told you guys how long I was on the PPIs for, and as well as, let me see, I'm trying to see what else I'm missing before I get into bigger details. But yeah guys, the PPIs, you don't want to be on that for too long. I mean, if you have no other choice, then you know it is what it is, but I just didn't want to be on that for too long. So eventually I would say, so I told you guys March I got diagnosed. It's really the ending of February though is when I was getting the real bad symptoms. But March I was diagnosed, and then April, we're moving into April. April I was able to go out. I'm gonna tell you when. I didn't go out though until like the ending of April a little bit. So when I went out, I was actually, okay, let me be very specific with y'all. If you're gonna go out, you have to be very careful what you're gonna get. This is not no regular, like I went to a place, I'm from New York, so I went to a place called Fushimi, and all I really got that I don't feel like it was bad with me, I had got me a salmon. I had sushi as well, but I got cooked sushi, nothing raw. But I did, as my entree, I had got me a salmon and vegetables. I think I got a little bit of mashed potatoes, but everybody's different when it comes to mashed potatoes and all of these things. So that was what worked for me at a restaurant. And once I ate and I was like, okay, I did good, then the next month I went out for a birthday, because you gotta remember, you have life to keep on going. Life is still there. Before I keep on getting into the next months of me going out, stress plays a big role in this whole gastritis thing. A lot of people that has been texting me has told me they didn't know what to do, they've been stressed out. And when I tell you, when they tell me that, and I feel so horrible, because I once felt like that. I was in a state where I was like, something's always happening to me, something always in my life happening. Like I was getting to the point where I was so stressed, and it was very bad. I was discouraged with myself. I was insecure because after the gastritis, I lost a lot of weight. I lost over like 20 pounds, and I used to weigh like 150 something. Like I went all the way down to like 120 something. So I lost some weight. I lost some weight, and I was very insecure. I was like, damn, like I was skinny all my life, and I was sitting here like, damn, I just started gaining my weight. So when I lost all that weight, I was like, damn, I was pissed. I was pissed. But after that, I was like, it is what it is. Like a body don't make me, my personality make me. So it was just like, eventually I had to get going with my life and just get better naturally. But these things do take a toll on you, and one thing I would suggest is really to make yourself happy in ways where you really have to do what you gotta do. You have to, no matter what, regardless, this is what's happening, you have to get going with your life. This is happening, eat right, stop sitting here playing and 1 minute having this and then 1 minute having the next thing. Me personally, I was strictly on this diet. I was not playing. And once I was strictly on the diet and I seen I was okay, I was good. Like I honestly, in April, I started back work. So from March to April, that's not, you know, that's some time. That's like, it's not like, how to explain that? Like time went fast. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a long bit of time, but it was some time. And I went back to work. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I did end up still getting flare-ups here and there, and I got a flare-up, I think I got a flare-up in June or July. And the reason why I had the flare-up was because of this damn job, which I'm no longer currently with. When I did my research, a lot of people do tell you certain jobs can make you really stressed out. If your job is one of them, but you have to depend on, like, you know, because life is gonna always be lifing, but if you have a medical reasoning, you can always still, there's ways that you can really still, you know, do what you gotta do, get money while you going through a medical thing, because at the end of the day, your health is way more important. And that's one thing that I did learn while having this whole gastritis thing. No job is going to care about you. No job is going to care about you at all. At the end of the day, if you're not feeling well, you're not feeling well. And I had to tell my coworkers that plenty of times. I told my coworkers, I told managers, supervisors. Well, when I restarted this job or whatever was happening, I already explained, like, hey, you know, if I'm not in, I'm not in. This has nothing to do where I'm not feeling well or whatever the case may be. But eventually, like, I was no longer with the company because the stress, it took a toll on me with this gastritis, was not good at all. It was not good at all. It was just no good. So stress definitely plays a big factor. I started juicing, so I'm gonna drop those videos. When I tell you, I'm gonna drop some videos, some cooking little stuff, what I made basically, and the juicing videos. Juicing videos, I made papaya juice. I already know you guys are going to probably look at me like ew, because a lot of people do not like papaya at all, but papaya is really, really good for your stomach. No matter what you're gonna say, it's really good. Unless you want to go make you a cabbage or a celery juice, that's up to you, because those are other juices that I've heard do work for your stomach and the gut with the gastritis. But me, I wanted to try the papaya because I was like, I used to eat papaya when I was younger, but it's been a good minute, so I was like, let me just try it. For me, because a lot of people feel like it smells like throw up or it's just disgusting, I mix papaya, apples, and mangoes with my like whole mixture, and I juice all of that together. When I tell you, it's fire. It's fire. No, I don't care what anybody want to say. Like, if you feel like it's not good, that I'm so sorry, but for me, it's fire. It does the job well. One thing too, you got to be careful with eating that's really acidic. I don't like oranges, so I don't eat oranges, but the pineapples are acidic as well, so you do have to be careful with eating pineapples. And yeah, but a lot of people don't tell you so much with this gastritis thing. I'm very sorry for anybody that's really going through this thing. It's really a hard struggle to go through this whole thing, but it's a process to get better. That's one thing I would say. It is a process to get better, and it's all about what you're eating. A lot of people don't take it serious, because when I went on Reddit and I went to people's, like, you know, the questioning, like, they would say a story like, oh yes, I was on the diet and then I went back to go drinking. If you're a heavy drinker, you shouldn't be going back to drinking after this thing. Like, for some people it's chronic, some people it's not chronic, some people it can fully go away. And I feel like I'm at the position where mine's kind of fully went away, but I'm still careful of what I'm eating, just because I don't want to that pain and you not eating, it's not good. One thing I would say, make sure you're always eating, and you have to eat like a certain quantity of stuff. You shouldn't be overeating when you do have the gastritis, because the way how I would do my meal portions, I would do, like, in the morning, let's say I did yogurt and I used to have sometimes yogurt, sometimes egg whites. You can do oatmeal. I'm not an oatmeal fan, but oatmeal is something that you can do. But let's say I did have my breakfast, I'll have a little bit of the breakfast. I used to do avocado toast a lot because I love avocados. I would do that. And then what else? My snacks, if I get hungry, is if I do basic. Okay guys, that video had I don't know. But what I would do is basically some snacks, and the snacks will be considered basically fruits. So that's when I start taking the watermelons, cantaloupes, or whichever fruits I really feel like is good. Blueberries, like I said, certain of these fruits are good, but it depends on you. Certain stuff could be too acidic depending on how long the fruit been there or whatever the case may be. Pears, I used to eat pears a lot because pears are very good for the stomach. That's what I used to do as well. Pears were really good for me. I actually have to do a grocery shopping soon, so I don't know. Tell me, comment down below if you feel like I need to do a little grocery shopping for y'all with this whole gastritis video. But yeah, basically, yeah, it's a lot of stuff that you're gonna be going through with this thing. It's a lot, but it's a way that you can get rid of it. Sometimes you can get rid of it for a good minute and you may just have flare-ups, but you can get rid of it. You can get rid of it. I don't want to hear y'all saying no. You can get rid of it. Now, if you have, like I said, the chronic one, that's a whole different story. Some people have been dealing with this for years. I've only been dealing with this for months, and mine, thank God, it's way better. Like, I can eat as I please. Like, I can really eat as I please, but I don't sit here and drag it. If you want to do red meat as well, guys, I would suggest you do, like, from what I seen, the research, they said do like a lean cut of like steak or pork, but I honestly think you should stay away from that, which it's not my business. But me personally, I stayed away from red meat for a long time, a long time, honey. Because that right there, all of that is really crucial on your stomach. It really is. So I'm trying to see, guys, what are some questions that, you know, I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything, honestly. But when I did research, coffee too plays a big role because of the caffeine. Caffeine is not really good for your stomach, but if you can tolerate it, then that's good. But honestly, I'm trying to see if I should have wrote down what people were asking me, because honestly, it was a lot of questions. But for me, it's good. Like, right now, I did recover. You can recover and still get flare-ups, like I said, but I've been good. I even went on a whole trip like a month ago, and I went to Aruba. When I tell you, I was having the time of my life. As y'all can see, I recently went to Aruba. I was able to eat everything. Nothing affected my stomach. When I tell y'all, I could have jumped up and down. I probably did jump up and down. I was drinking. I was doing all of those things. And I only did it because it was my birthday, because I don't be drinking on all of those things. But it didn't affect me. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes all of this is really due to stress. It could be cause of the stress, and because of that, you just don't want to be sitting here and you're going and you're like, you know, oh, I can't enjoy life, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's so many things that you can do. Like, you just have to fix up the whole eating habit. Something that I don't see people talking about as well, these are things that I wanted to say because I almost forgot to tell you. When I tell you guys, I'm gonna tell y'all the tea. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing nothing with this. So the supplements that I used to take were it was this, I'm gonna put a picture below so you guys would know and do a little voiceover, but it was Friska's women's probiotics plus prebiotics. Those helped me because in the beginning, because I haven't been eating for so long and it was a struggle for me to eat, when I did start eating, I started getting very constipated. That's something that nobody talks about. I was very constipated to the point where I was going days without using the number 2. And I was like, what's really going on? But until I bought those, that helped my constipation very, very good. There was something I was just about to tell you guys. Oh my gosh. When I tell you guys, I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing a thing. I'm sorry for that loud little stuff. Yeah. Another thing that I use is throat coat. Throat coat is basically, and I'm not reading anything, guys. I'm not reading anything. I keep looking on my phone to see if I could look up some questions, anything from what I had before. But throat coat helped my esophagus. That's one thing I ordered right away when they said my esophagus was, you know, very damaged and all of that. Throat coat is really good for it, and it just like soothes it, especially if your throat is like sore or anything. You have to be drinking it constantly though, like drinking in the morning. If you want to do it in the night, fine. It has slippery elm in it. For the girlies, I see a lot of people, you know, taking the slippery elm, the actual supplement now. And I think they're taking it for a different reason, because if you look it up anywhere, a lot of these girls taking it for a whole different reason now. But that's their business. But throat coat is definitely something that I would recommend for your esophagus. I'm trying to see if there was any other supplements that I was taking, but everything I was doing was naturally. It was only prebiotics plus probiotics, so it was all in one. Frisca was a nice brand to me because it was all natural, it was vegetarian, like it was really very good. So it helped me, and the fact that it helped me with constipation, I was very pleased with those results. And then what else? I don't think I took anything else as a supplement after, but yes, it's really this. So guys, you really have to not be stressing about. But these are you cannot. I know you're gonna stress because I went through this whole stress phase, but stressing will only make your stomach hurt worse. I promise I'm gonna link my TikTok to this video, so you can just watch the video on how to make it, because it's right there. Another thing that people don't talk about, and is a good thing that I just remembered because I'm over here looking at my bed, when you sleep and you feel like the acid is coming up, first of all, you need to stop eating before, like once it's 9, you shouldn't be eating. Don't eat past 9. Sleeping, you need to sleep elevated. Make sure you have a lot of pillows, so that when you sleep, you cannot sleep flat. Your body's not ready to sleep flat. I can sleep flat now, there's no issue with me, but there's times like if I ever feel like acid, well, I haven't felt acid come up in months, but there's times where I'm already so used to sleeping elevated, I still will. But you need to sleep in a diagonal, like slanted. You need to make sure that you're in a position where you're still like, you're leaning like this, or I don't know how to explain it. Just make sure you're not flat. You're not flat at all. And you also need to sleep on your left side. You don't have to do none of these things, but this is for my research, guys. It's just for my research. But from all of those things I did, it definitely helped me, because I was waking up choking. I thought I was dying, God forbid. I was waking up choking on the acid. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was gasping for air sometimes. I was like, well, what the hell is going on? But those things definitely, you know, it will help. Some people talk about having low acid and then too much acid. Now that definitely plays a big role in things. There are certain little tests that you could do at home where you can drink, I think it's what is the powder? Okay guys, so lastly, I was trying to tell you guys basically what people do. Some people take water and baking soda basically, and they make a mixture, and basically if they burp, it could tell them in a few minutes of them burping, it will tell them how their acid is. If it's low, if it's high, it will tell them. But I wanted to look at some questions and then basically answer them before I just cut this video off, just because we're getting towards the end. I just hope all that I was supposed to tell you guys came out, and if there are any questions, I will answer them to doing like a part 2, or it's just like how I'm doing. But let me see if I can find like a nice question. I see someone saying, what is a flare exactly? A flare basically is when you're doing good, right? And let's say your gastritis has calmed down, everything you've been doing has been good. The flare can be all of a sudden your stomach is really bad right now. Like, you can either get a nausea feeling, sometimes it's just you can't eat again. That flare can be so much things. When I tell you guys, you do not want to have a flare. My camera is dying already, which is like pissing me off. And I seen somebody talk about sleeping suggestions, which obviously I answered, where I was saying that you can sleep on a certain side, which is your left side, and you need to sleep elevated just so the acid isn't really coming up. And it really helps when you sleep on your left side. But yes guys, I do feel like, if anything, I would like if you guys can comment some, you know, questions down below if anybody needs help with this. I do read comments. It may take me a while because sometimes comments coming all the time, but once the comments are there, I will answer. I just want to know if there's anybody else out there that is going through this, and as well to tell you guys that you can get rid of this. Even if you can't, you could at least comment down. So I am hoping for somebody to just comment about it. But that's really just the story time that I really wanted to talk about, was my experience having it, how long it lasted, if I'm recovered or not, and what are things that I do now that help me, which is just eating better. But I will be inserting some clips, guys, so you can see just everything, my foods and juicing and all of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some tips from it, and stay tuned for the next lit video.